Hello, my wonderful third graders. Today, as you walk in, please have out a pencil, paper, or something to write on. Have your computers open and be ready to learn, but don't do anything on your laptops just yet. Grab an exit slip at the top of my desk and flip it over on your desk once you get to your seat. Don't look at it. We are going to use these at the very end, okay? So you don't need them now, but keep them on your desk until then, okay? I'll give you about a minute to get set up. Okay, so today our class expectations. Today we will be following directions, having our listening ears on. Oh, can everyone point to their listening ears for me? Good job. Raising our hands if we have any questions, and we will be learning something brand new today. So all I ask is that you follow along and you try your very best. So math operations. We've talked about addition, subtraction, and multiplication already, right? We're going to go through a few problems of these. Today, though, we will be talking about division. So first, we're going to review. So addition. If we have 4 plus 4, you can do that on your fingers. So if you have 4 fingers on one hand and 4 fingers on the other hand, and you were to add them up, how many fingers would you end up with? Great, 8 fingers. Next, we're going to do subtraction. So if you had 6 fingers up, and I asked you to put down 3 fingers, let's do that all together. 1, 2, 3. How many fingers are you left with? 3. Awesome job. Now we just learned multiplication, okay? This is an easy one, but we just learned this, so it's okay if this is still new to you. 3 times 3, so you're multiplying 3 by 3. How much do we end up with? 9. Awesome job, my third graders. Okay, so now we are going to learn about division. Now, the definition of division, or what it means, is that division is finding out how many times one number is contained in another number. Is that a little confusing for my friends? Raise your hand if that's a little confusing. Okay, so we're going to go through a bunch of examples today. So by the end of class, hopefully this makes a little bit more sense. Okay, if we want to write down this definition at the top of our paper so we have it, and then we will move on. Okay, so our first example, I'm going to walk you through a picture example before we get into our group work. So there are 6 people in this photo. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good job. How many groups of 2 are there within these 6 people? So how many times can we group 2 friends together? Here's 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, and 3 groups of 2. Now, if you can't see that there, I have it broken up for you. There are 3 groups of 2 people within 6. So 6 divided by 2 equals 3, because the total 6 people divided into partners, or 2, there would end up with 3 groups. Today, though, we are going to be practicing using shapes, and we're going to be practicing on this app, which allows us to use a geoboard. This may be something that's totally new to you, but that is totally okay. Raise your hand if you've ever used a geoboard before. Okay, a few of you. So here is what it looks like, and we have our rubber bands at the bottom. Now, at the bottom of your laptop, you can have a square, a rectangle, or a circle. Click on the rectangle so we have the most amount of space as possible. Today, we are going to be using just the blue and the purple rubber bands. So with the blue rubber bands, I want you to make your favorite shape for me, okay, at the bottom of your geoboard. So make your favorite shape, and then we'll talk about what shapes we made. Okay, class, now I made a triangle as my favorite shape. What did you guys make? Awesome. So today we are going to be using our practice problems with the geoboard. So any number highlighted in blue, you'll be using your blue rubber bands, and any number highlighted in purple, we'll be using our purple rubber bands. And we are going to be doing this by drawing squares out for us, okay, with the geoboard. So if we're asking what is 6 divided by 3, we are going to use the blue rubber bands to make 6 squares, and the green rubber band and the purple rubber bands to make 3 squares, okay? So I'm going to start making my squares now. This is 1 square. 2 squares, 3 squares, 4, 5, and 6. Make sure your geoboard looks just like mine. I'll be walking around to check your geoboards. After you have done your 6 blue squares, you're going to make 3 purple squares right underneath, okay? Once you have completed doing this, put your hands on your desk and look up at me so I know you're done, okay? Great job, my friends. So we have 6 blue squares. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 purple squares. 1, 2, 3. We are seeing how many times this shape can fit into this long blue shape, okay? So we're seeing how many times these 3 squares can fit into these blue squares, okay? So these 3 squares, we're looking at this as one whole, okay? So we could take away these 2 middle rubber bands and just look at it as one big part. But just so we remember, let's leave our rubber bands on so we know that it's 6 divided by 3. So if we were to put these 3 purple squares and move them into the blue squares, these 3 purple squares would fill in these 3 blue squares. That would be 1. If we were to repeat that on this side, that would be 2. So these purple squares would fill into these blue squares, and that would be 2. So these 6 blue squares can be divided by these 3 purple squares twice. Okay, let's try our next problem, okay? I know that was a little confusing, but that's okay. 2 divided by 2. So any number divided by itself is always going to equal 1. So let's draw our 2 blue squares over here and our 2 purple squares right underneath it, okay? Do we have any questions before we move on? Okay, so make sure to draw your 2 blue squares and your 2 purple squares. So if you can start to see, these 2 purple squares are going to fit perfectly into these 2 blue squares. This would stack right on top of this. If you folded it forward like a pancake, they would fold evenly. That's because these 2 are divided by these 2 will always equal 1. It will always equal 1. So if we were trying to do this problem with just 1 divided by 1, what answer would we get? If it's 1 divided by 1, what are we going to get? 1, because this 1 purple square fits into this 1 blue square 1 time. Awesome job, my friends. So 2 divided by 2 equals 1. It'll always equal 1. Our next problem, 9 divided by 3. So we have our 3 purple squares here and we have 6 blue squares. How many more blue squares do we need to add to get to 9 from 6? 3. Great job. So let's add our 3 blue squares. And when you're done, give me a thumbs up so I know you're ready to move on. I'm going to walk around and check your geo squares to make sure they look just like mine, okay? Okay, let's count our blue squares together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And our purple squares. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So we're doing 9 divided by 3. How many times does this 3 fit into this blue 9 squares? Talk with your partner and try and work this problem out, okay? I'm going to give you guys a hint first, and then you're going to do this one with your partner. So if these 3 squares were moved up, it would stack on top of these 3 squares, okay? 1, 2, 3, that's 1. How many more 3s fit in here? This is 1. How many more times can we do that? Good, we can do it 2 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 9 divided by 3 equals 3. Okay, on your own now, I'm going to have you do this last problem. So if we have 7 blue squares and 1 purple square, so we're at 9 blue squares, how many do we need to take away or subtract to get to 7? 2. Good job. So we have 7 blue squares and 1 purple square. How many times does this 1 purple square fit into these 7 blue squares? Let's count. In your heads though, so everybody try it on their own. Count on your own. Does one friend want to share out what they got? 7. Who else got 7? Raise your hand. Awesome. So 7 divided by the 1 purple square equals 7. It fits 7 times. Great job, my friends, using your GeoBoards today. So now that we've done practice on our own and with our partners and as a whole, it is your turn to show me what you learned today. So now flip over your exit tickets I gave you at the beginning of the class, right? Make sure to write your name on the top. You are going to use your GeoBoard to fill out these problems. Make sure to draw how many squares you do on next to your paper. So in your exit ticket, you have problems highlighted in blue and in green, or I should say numbers in blue and numbers in purple. I'm sorry, not green, purple. So you have numbers highlighted in blue and purple. You are going to be using your GeoSquare, the same 2 colors that we've been using this whole time. And then on the side of your paper, make sure to draw those out so I can check your work. When you're done, turn it in at the front of your desk. When you are finished, you can catch up on schoolwork, you can draw, you can read, or you can just put your heads down and wait for the rest of our class, okay? Tomorrow, we are going to be working on similar problems, but we're going to not use our GeoBoard. We're going to see if we can do it without it, and then check our work using our GeoBoard, okay? Awesome work today, my friends.